Hello, let's go to another update of CEB for the humans version 0.4. This update we have some major changes, some improvements that are the NLA editor options that you have here. The foot height lock also had some improvements. You can see the menu also changed a little bit, making it more modular. You can enable just what you are going to use. And I'm gonna show this update with a simple way to create an animation scene, going through all the process. And let's start this. Okay, first I'm going to import 3 animations, and I'm gonna link them in a way to make an animation, a full animation. And let me do some stretches. Let's import. I have this option, use selected character. So in this case I have one character in the scene, importing the animation won't load another one. And let's go to NLA action and keep renaming it properly. I can copy the name of the file that I imported and press create. You see there's some stretches. It's here. Let's import the other one. Good night. I'm gonna use the use selected character, so we just have one character on the scene. If I don't use this option, it's going to import another character, which I don't need. So let's import. And let me get the name from the file and create. You see, good night is here too. And let's import the last one. It's dangerous. Import it and get the name. Create. Okay, now we have all the 3 animations. Let me remove the core because I won't use it anymore. Let me put this smooth because what I'm gonna do. Okay, one important thing: after you press the create, you don't have the animation here anymore. It's an NLA action, and if you wanna edit it, you have to load. For example, to do some stretches, I'm gonna load it, and now I can edit the animation. And what I'm gonna do on the editing part is smoothing it. You can see some jitter. Let me smooth it, and it's cleaner. Let me do the same thing for the other ones. Let me load the good night and smooth it. Okay, let's load the it's dangerous, and okay, let's move them it too. Now we have every animations moved, but we have some problems on the feet with 2 of them. To do some stretches, let me load it. Let me put it in front to view better. We see that. Let me go to the beginning. Oh, the stretches, it's cool. The problem is in the good night one, I think. And you see the foot is moving too much. So what we can do is enable let me remove this move. We are not going to use it more, and put the foot here. And starting the process of the foot height, we press analyze so it can get the data important to process, and we see when the foot starts getting weird. It's right here in the beginning, so press start and it will add a marker. And I think by this time it ends because it's gonna lift the foot, and this part seems fine. And okay, I have this part is a little bit more problematic, so it's the one that I'm gonna apply the foot height lock. Press apply, and you should have it not going through the floor anymore. Okay, the good night was done. Let's see the it's dangerous. It has some other things in there too. And we can see the foot. Let me mark it around here. And you see how low it goes. So the same thing we do here, we press analyze and we select, let me remove this start and end. We see when it's going to start. Oh, important thing is, let me start here. But we have to end before the jump, or else let me show what happens. If I apply it here, the animation will become very strange because the foot won't go out of the floor. Let me get the original data back, and okay, we can start here. I already pressed, and we've put the end before the foot goes away from the floor here. And let's see, it flies again, and you see that this part gets a little bit odd. It goes a little bit below the floor. So I wait for it to put the foot on the floor, and I press start again, and the rest I don't have to put an end. Let's see how it goes. Apply, and you have the animation with the feet on the floor, jump, and it goes down, and you see that it basically doesn't pass anymore through the floor. Okay, we've finished editing the good night and it was dangerous, and we are ready to use it on the NLA track. Let me remove the foot height options and let me add the NLA track. Let me remove this. We are not going to use it. I have to unload the data. Let me remove also the markers just to be clean. And okay, the first track that I want to add is the do some stretches. I press do some stretches and add a track. And let me show the NLA view. Now in the NLA view you see that it inserts, it creates a track. It didn't have a track before, and it adds the do some stretches. The other one that I want to add is the good night. And the interesting thing that you should do, let me add the good night. If I add it, you see after the first animation it will jump to the second one. That's not usually a good thing. The good thing is that you add with a transition. It has another problem, we are going to solve it, but anyway, in a transition is always interesting to have. We can add a transition after we already have the action here. We can choose the amount of frames for the transition and press the button. It's gonna add a transition before the action. So it will add before the action. I can choose 10 frames and press, and you see now we have a transition. Let's play. And you see a little bit of transition here. Let's add it's dangerous. And as I said, it's always interesting to add a transition, and we can do it in one go. I have 10 frames here, and I can press add with transition, so it adds the new action and already use the transition. Let's see it. And you see it goes good, but we have some odd transforming. Now let's take a look on how to fix this. We can do this. We see where this is the first animation, and the problem is between the first and the second one. You see that there are some movement that are not fine. What we can do is go to the end of the first animation, and let's see where, let's mark where the feet is. I'm gonna put it to be easier for us to know. And after that, we go to the second animation, the good night. Let's press here and load it. Loading the animation, we can take a look. Oh, you see that our marking disappeared. We can make it stay visible, going into view, annotations, and lock, so it won't go away. Now we loaded the goodnight animation, and it's on this first part here. We can go to the beginning because we are going to edit this animation. Let me get the graph view. Oh, Blender crashed. Bye. Yeah, Blender crashed. Let me try to continue from where I stopped it. It was trying to move to get from the first animation to the second animation to fix this location issue. What can we do? At first, let me do a little bit different. Let me do some stretches, the first one, and load it. And let's go to the last frame and get the position of the feet. And now we go to the good night and load and go to the beginning. Oh yeah, I have to go to the view, annotations, and lock frame. Oh man, I have to lock here. Now it's locked. And okay, now let's open the graph editor. Let me put a little bit up, and we have to find the pelvis. I go to the pose mode and get the pelvis bone. We take a look on the probably the Y location. Let me press home and I grab with G and Y, and you see that we can move very close to the annotations, but it's not only the Y that is important to move. We also have to move the X, and we grab with G and Y to move it, and I think that's fine. This way we made the beginning of the second animation to match the end of the first one. We can now unload the, let me go to the add-on, unload the animation, and we can see how it works. You see that now the transition is much better. Okay, let's go to from the second to the third one, because we also have a problem, and it's almost the same way to fix. Let me go to I loaded the good night to see the final frame, how it is. Let me do some annotation. First remove this one and add another one. I'll load it. It's dangerous. Go to the first frame and same thing. Pelvis bone. We click on it because we are already in pose mode. And let me frame everything pressing home. Let me select this one. It's gonna be the X location. I double click the X location, press G and Y, and try to go as close as possible. And Y location, press G and Y, and go down a little bit. I think that's good. Why I did that? Because I must have the feet at least near where the last animation was. It's not in the same position, but the transition will deal with that. Okay, let me go back. Let me unload the animation and see how it goes on the NLA editor. You see that it's going well, but it's too fast. I would like to make it a little bit slower. What I can do using only the add-on, we can see that we have this transition we can remove using the delete action from track, and having that removed we have space to put a new transition, and we can put it to 10 frames and before the action. So press the left key and we have it here. Let's play it, see how it goes. I think it's good enough. And let me see the first transition to the second animation. I think it's fine too. So let me hide this window and let's see the final animation. You can see, oh, let me go from the start. Oh, one more thing. You can see, I feel that this animation, this first and second animation are a little bit slow, and that's why I think the do some stretches are in 60 FPS and the good night is also in 60 FPS. The it was dangerous. This one is in 30 FPS. So what can we do to fix also this issue? We can go to the do some stretches. We have to go in the NLA editor, and I don't have this option on the add-on yet. You can, okay, select, and in the action clip you can change the playback scale to 0.5, so you make it go faster. Now watching the animation, you see I feel that it's better this way. And okay, but now we have a big transition. What I can do, I can remove everything, these other ones, and add them again. I have to do some stretches. I would like to have 5 frames to move from do some stretches to the good night and press add with transition. And after that I would like to add 10 frames from good night to the it's dangerous and add with transition, and let's see how it goes. The do some stretches has a nice speed in my opinion. The good night seems a little bit slow. I forgot about it. So we put it playback scale 0.5. Let's see again. I think it's much better. So now we have this big transition. Then we can deal with it, moving the transition and the other action. We go to the good night and select it was dangerous, 10 frames, and add with transition. And now the final animation, finally. Sorry for taking too long, but I think it was important to show. This is a first pass. You should try to make some improvements on the animation if you want, But you can see that using this workflow you can have a fast way to make at least the first pass of an animation. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.